Terri， 今日再次嚟到呢度同大家直播大選投票。咁我而家係喺 Fairfax County 北部 Virginia 北部嘅一個人口比較多嘅 county 啦。咁聽日係第一個星期六會開放可以投票嘅。今日同埋今日之前都係星期一至五可以投票嘅啫。咁睇下今日其實都唔少人喎，睇下啲車。咁同埋大家感受下氣氛。呢啲係專門為投票嘅人提供嘅停車位 ，curbside voting only。咁都可以喺呢度投票嘅。
I'm sorry, you can't film me.
Oh, okay, all right. 咁有人喺路邊幫助啲投票者。Voter parking only 咁樣。呢個係啲志願者嘅 workstation。呢個係 COVID 比較獨特嘅地方啦。平時以前投票係唔會有啲車係停喺嗰度等住人幫佢哋服務佢哋投票咁嘅。OK。咁我哋通常咧投票嘅時候都有兩個陣營，佢哋都會有專門有人喺度幫助啲投票者，如果佢想投邊個黨派嘅票呢，咁就會有啲信息可以幫助佢哋嘅。咁我哋睇下啦。呢度就係因為呢個係 Virginia， 所以唔單止係個 general election， 即係總統嘅選舉啦，同埋仲有當地一啲其他嘅職位嘅候選人咁啊。咁我哋嗱，呢個係而家係兩大陣營啦。左手邊呢度我哋睇到嘅係 Republican 嘅陣營，咁嗰邊呢就係Biden Harris 嘅。咁我哋啱啱喺呢度先路過呢個 Republican 先，咁我先同佢哋啲 volunteer 傾下。大家睇到唔同嘅標語啦，同埋呢度係好典型嘅，好典型嘅 sample ballot， 即係話如果你要投共和黨嘅票呢，你就係 tick 呢啲選呢啲人啦首先呢，總統同埋副總統係 Trump 同埋 Pence， 跟住Senator 呢就係 Daniel Gade。咁 Senate Virginia 係民主黨嘅，即係 Mark Warner 啦 ，incumbent。咁我哋等陣過去可以睇嗰邊。啲共和黨嘅其他嘅眾議院嘅競選人啦，係 Jeff Jordan 啦、Alicia Andrews 同埋 Manga。And Amendments 1 and 2， 通常投票嘅時候都有啲其他嘅條款喺度嘅。咁佢都係話你如果係共和黨嘅票呢，就鼓勵你咁樣填啦咁我而家試下同啲 volunteer 傾下啦Hi, I'm live streaming to audience in Hong Kong.
Oh.
And I don't know if you have followed the news, but Hong Kongers are very much concerned about the US election because the fate of Hong Kong is going to change dramatically depending on the result.
Yes.
So I'm live streaming for the Epoch Times. We have a newspaper here too. So if you one of your ladies would like to talk anything
She's
about?
a better talker than I am.
Better talker?
I don't know about that.
Okay, so I suppose that you're volunteering here today, right?
Yes, we're
Yeah.
both
So
volunteering here today.
yeah, what's the reason that you're here?
Well, we're volunteering here today. I think I can speak for both of us in that we very much support the Republican ticket from President Donald Trump. We think he's done a great job in the White House down to our congressional races. In the 10th district, we have Alicia Andrews, and then Mangus running in the 11th district? 11th district. We feel like there's a lot riding on this election. We think that he has done a great job in the last 3.5 years. We feel like what former Vice President Biden brings to the table in his last 47 years, what he has done is nothing, and what he is bringing to the table for the next 4 years is a lot of socialist policies that are going to just really be very bad for the country as we know it, and undo our government as we know it, and take us in a completely wrong direction, and we don't want to see that happen.
So did you ladies watch the vice presidential debate earlier this week?
Yes.
What's your assessment of the performance?
Well,
Pence's performance?
I think that what you saw Vice President Pence make a clear distinction between what this administration has done, its accomplishments, where they want to take this country, and where former Vice President Biden had everything that he has not done, and where they see this country going. You saw Kamala Harris, Senator Harris, reinvent the facts of what they have said in the past and what they're saying now. You saw them dodge a lot of questions in terms of what they want to see done and what they don't want to see done. They will not answer the question in terms of stacking the Supreme Court. And what stacking the Supreme Court means is adding additional justices to the Supreme Court to make it look like an NFL football team and not a 9-justice Supreme Court as we've seen for the last 150 years. That's not a third branch of government. That's another branch of Congress, and we don't want to see that happen. That's going to undo our government, and they will not answer that question.
What about Nancy Pelosi's press conference today about the 25th Amendment?
I think that's a complete distraction. She doesn't have the votes in the Senate to pass that. The president will not sign that. That's just a complete distraction because, again, every day you wake up, they throw something else against the wall to get it to stick, to try to undo this president. It has not worked in the last 3.5 years. It's not going to work now. They saw the vice president perform exceptionally well in the debate. They saw Kamala Harris not perform well in the debate. So this is something else they're trying as a distraction technique to take your mind off of that, to get people talking about it. And we're talking about it.
Yeah, so how come a lot of media after the debate said that Kamala Harris performed really well, she was ahead of Pence, and also the Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking, seems to be sticking. What's your opinion or interpretation?
Because the media is in Biden's camp. They're just a third arm of his campaign. They want to see him win. They don't ask him the tough questions. They never ask him the tough questions. And they're campaigning for him. They let him slide on everything. So, I mean, as you see, the only thing that they could come up with the next day was, well, it was sexist. I mean, she got up there to debate, and so him debating a candidate is all of a sudden sexist, when in reality it was sexist for them to even say that, because it's sexist to say that you're not up to the task to debate.
Now, have you voted already, or are you waiting for November the 3rd?
I'm waiting till November the 3rd. I'm going to vote in person on November the 3rd.
And what's the consideration behind that?
I've always voted on election day. I'm going to do so again, and I'm going to vote in person because I want to make sure my vote counts.
Okay, so no mailing votes?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, what about voting early? Do you think there's a risk that the ballot may disappear or being misplaced?
I think you can vote in early if you do it in person, and I think you're fine. I've always voted on election day, and I'm going to do so again this year.
Okay, so one last question: what's your interpretation about Trump's decision of not participating in a virtual debate and postponing the second debate?
Well, I think it's a great idea to not participate in a virtual debate. Why should he participate in a virtual debate? First of all, that was a unilateral decision by the Presidential Debate Commission to make it virtual. They didn't check with either one of the candidates. It gives way to people being able to cheat, have things in their ears, have teleprompters being used. Debates, you can't really debate if it's virtual. It's like an online Zoom meeting that you do with your kids. So why not? First of all, it gives him every opportunity to test negative, have a couple of negative tests, and then if he tests negative, you can proceed with the debate next week. Otherwise, you can put it off. Why not postpone it? He's proposed postponing it. This gives Joe Biden an out to say, oh wait, no, it was scheduled for October 15th. If we can't do it then I don't want to do it. Do it in person. He's afraid to debate the president. Debates are supposed to be done in person. Go ahead and do it in person.
Yeah, so
when it's safe.
Yeah, since I'm live streaming for Hong Kong, have you been following the news in Hong Kong? And in general, have you been following Trump's policy towards China?
I have been following Trump's policy toward China, yes.
So what's your opinion? What's your assessment of that?
Yeah. I'll let Kelly answer that.
Okay, Kelly, your turn now.
Yes,
me two
hello,
thumbs up.
Hong Kong. We're praying for you. We would
Yes.
love to exchange some of these Democrat voters and ship them to China. Or if they I mean, it's driving me crazy that our country is blind to the threat that China, the Chinese Communist Party, poses to our country. They have infiltrated our universities. They've infiltrated our tech companies. They've infiltrated our phones with different apps. And if the American public cannot see that, if they're only upset that our president is not being diplomatic, the trade wars, God bless Hong Kong for standing up. And I'm very upset that the people that are burning down our cities and our can't see that if they were in any other country, if they were in China, they would disappear. This is an incredible country, and we thank you so much, Hong Kong, for standing with us, carrying our flag. You carry our flag when you're outside. You're standing with us. We thank you so much for your prayers. So keep speaking loudly. We're standing with you, and I know that our president is standing with you also, and we'll protect you and take care of you against the CCP invasion. God bless.
Oh, thanks, Kelly. What's your name, ma'am?
Lauren.
Lauren. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
How long do you plan to be here?
Our shift is until 2 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
But we've been volunteering various days here.
Yeah, so you
as
haven't
needed.
haven't had lunch yet? Waiting for until the end of the shift?
Actually, I had a little granola bar before I came in the car.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, the passion.
Thank you.
Let's look at her pants. Awesome
You look
style.
like you're into fashion. I was just looking at your shirt.
Well, very nice speaking to you, ladies.
Yes,
Thank
have
you
a
for
blessed
sharing your
day.
perspectives.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. OK， 頭先呢兩位係共和黨嘅義工啊，咁頭先大家都聽到啦，佢哋支持特朗普啦，同埋覺得Vice President 副總統嘅辯論覺得彭斯做得好好。至於話媒體好多媒體都話學緊你做得辯論中表現好過彭斯。佢哋話係因為呢個媒體都係幫拜登競選嘅。咁提到香港呢，另外一位女士交流佢嘅想法啦，佢就係話非常之感動香港嘅市民可以 stand up to the CCP 嚇，同埋佢都係覺得非常之感動話。香港嘅市民喺抗議中都攞住美國嘅國旗，佢係即係話俾香港嘅市民聽，美國人會同香港企埋一齊，特朗普總統會支持香港咁啦。因為大家睇下，即係人呢，雖然唔係太多，都唔少喎。咁因為啲social distancing 啦。所有人排隊咁樣都要隔開6英尺， 所以呢個隊已經排到出咗呢個building 嘅門口啦嚇。咁所有呢啲人咧就係喺呢度排隊咯。咁跟住排下可以入去之後咧，又再要排嘅先至可以入到房間入邊去真正嘅投票咁啦。咁我哋而家去嗰個 Biden-Harris 嗰度睇下啦嚇。咁我記得上次咧同石山做節目嘅時候，我係話以前即係每個陣營都係講咗要請啲人 text 一個詞去佢嘅 number， 跟住佢會跟進啊，要你捐款咁樣嚇。咁 Biden 嗰邊嘅關鍵詞係 United。自從特朗普染病之後呢，個關鍵詞就係變成咗 blessed 嚇。咁我當時係話我唔記得特朗普 blessed 之前嘅 keyword 係乜嘢嘅，但係呢，後尾我突然間喺網上睇到呢話，梗係啦，我竟然唔記得佢以前嘅關鍵詞就係 Trump 嘛。呢個我竟然唔記得，因為佢嘅特色啦。你話佢嘅支持者 text 乜嘢，梗係佢嘅自己嘅名啦，係嘛？咁我而家嚟係睇到呢個係民主黨嘅 Fairfax Democratic Committee， 呢個都係佢哋喺呢度。咁Mark Warner 而家係喺參議院incumbent， 佢係參議員嚟嘅。咁呢度就係 Biden、Warner、Bayer， 係3個候選人。咁我睇。
Submit your mail-in ballots. Yeah. Very
Well,
good.
actually, do you know that, do we have to include a copy of the ID?
Only if it says you need to on no ID required. There you
Okay.
go.
有啲選民咧喺呢度就係唔使排隊嘅，因為佢哋已經話原先係話佢想用郵寄嘅方式投票，咁佢已經收到嗰個票啊嘛 ballot， 所以佢填咗之後我睇到有唔少人選擇呢種方式，即係自己填咗之後呢，但係佢又唔郵寄，佢係親自過嚟，咁入邊有個紙箱有人睇住嘅。你可以將你已經填好咗嘅 ballot 放喺嗰個箱入邊咁樣，所以有好多聰明人呢係用呢種方式啦，咁唔使等於係嗰種 mobile pickup 係嘛，即係話事先已經訂好咗啦，咁到過嚟或者係 drop off 啊，或者係 pick up 咁樣，所以都幾聰明下嘅。咁我想好啦，我哋睇下呢個 Democratic sample ballot。佢哋嘅樣本啦，咁大家知道喺美國啊嘛，好多人都係習慣咗 hand holding 嚇，即係已經俾好呢個例子啦。好，咁 Democratic 民主黨呢邊嘅 sample ballot 咧，你就係揀 Joe Biden、Kamala Harris 係總統同埋副總統，跟住咧Mark Warner 係參議院嘅參議員。然之後 Don Beyer 咧，佢而家3位Virginia 其實議會咧都係民主黨嘅，即係呢3位 Don Beyer、Jennifer Wexton 同埋 Jerry Connolly 全部都係在位嘅。跟住佢話say no on number 1， 咁我等陣要問下啦，呢啲係好地方特色嘅。咁跟住咧同埋仲有 Herndon， 即係另外一個小城市嘅啲候選人啦。The bond issues 咧，嗰邊共和黨係話 no 嘅，咁呢啲係即係同唔同意政府買啲債券啦 ，for 為圖書館啊、公園啊或者係交通設施購買，唔係購買係賣債券。咁呢度即係都反映咗民主黨比較大政府咯，即係要靠政府搞呢啲措施。共和黨嗰邊就係話 no 嘅。 呢個係佢哋嘅建議啦。咁如果你覺得我就係有黨派人士係咪？我呢個黨嘅，我即係佢幫你搞到好簡單咯，你即係抄呢個抄書就得噶啦。呢個都係幾美國特色下嘅。好，咁我哋再睇下好呢啲標語啦嚇。咁我想同啲呢幾位傾下嚇。等陣佢哋而家喺度傾偈。Hi, excuse me. Hi. I'm with the Epoch Times. I'm doing live streaming to Hong Kong audience on our YouTube channel.
Fantastic.
Hi. Hey. So would you like to talk about why you're here? What you're doing here? No, you don't. Do you want to talk about? Okay,
absolutely.
come on.
Do we have any the I voted sticker or anything like that?
Oh, another screw abuse.
All right, thank you.
All right. So, your name, sir, and why you're here today? How long do you plan to be here?
Sure. Hi, my name is Paul Berry. I live in Reston. I'm a volunteer with the Fairfax County Democratic Committee, and I am here 2 or 3 times a week just volunteering to give people information about voting. People are standing in line for 1 or 2 or even 3 hours some days, and most of them, this is a part of Virginia that's very heavily Democratic, so we're hoping that there's a lot of Democratic voters who are voting for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and our Senator Mark Warner. All 3 of them, I'm thrilled, are strong supporters of democracy abroad, especially in Hong Kong. And I myself am very supportive of all the free protests, and I hope that they continue, that people are able to express their individual opinion and come together and discuss the things that at home are really important to them. And I hope that from Virginia to Hong Kong, we express our support for you and everything that you're aspiring to do.
Oh, thank you. And can I ask you, what is your main reason for supporting Biden and Harris?
So I grew up on a farm in California, and I went to school, and then right when I graduated was the Great Recession. So I'm part of the generation that has been playing by the rules, and I have school debt, and when we went to go find a job and said, listen, like, we're ready to join the workforce, the economy was not working for us. We're now seeing a repeat of that failure, the failure of economic policy by the current administration in Washington, D.C. The Republican-led Senate, the Republican-led White House, and in 2016, the Republican-led Congress by Paul Ryan, all those Republican leaders put in economic tax breaks for the wealthiest 1%. Joe Biden wants to put a tax on people who have $400,000 or more in income every year. It's not a job killer. Even Goldman Sachs is saying that his plan is going to create 7 million more new jobs. That's in manufacturing, in tech, in the green economy, in the energy sector. All these things really speak to me. I'm in my 30s, and I'm still, I'm going to be part of the workforce for, hopefully another 30 years. Joe Biden knows what it means to create jobs and to put into place policies that will encourage economic growth and enable Americans to produce ideas and innovative products that will, not just be valued here but abroad.
So, do you agree that some people say that Biden kind of avoided the question whether he's going to raise tax?
No,
in
not
the
at all.
debate,
No,
so it sounds like he's going to raise tax, right?
He's been very clear. The number is $400,000. If you make $400,000 or more, he's going to increase the taxes on those individuals. Those are the individuals that are part of the 1% of the population that are putting their tax base offshore, so their corporate taxes are lower for them. There are folks like Donald Trump, who paid $750 in taxes and is now refusing to release his tax returns because he doesn't want to admit that fact. These are the folks that haven't been paying their fair share into the system, but they rely on firefighters and police officers and teachers and safe roads just the way the rest of us do, but they're not contributing their fair share. Joe Biden is saying we should all be giving together as Americans and working towards something that unifies us economically.
Yeah, I'm sorry, sir. I missed your name. Your name again?
Paul Berry.
Paul, yes, I'm sorry. So, Paul, can you tell me, were you supporting Biden from the very beginning, or you kind of came behind Biden after he became the nominee.
No, I definitely was neutral in the beginning. We had a fantastic number of, I think it was 16 or 17 Democratic candidates. All experienced leaders and
a lot of options.
Lots of options, and that was great. And that's the main reason why I chose to. So I worked for Hillary Clinton in 2016, and when it came to 2020, I definitely wanted to take the same approach, which was evaluate who's this year we've had a lot more, like you said, a lot more options.
Right.
So I watched the debates. I read on their websites what they were standing for, and Joe Biden eventually was the person that I supported before the Virginia primary.
Okay. And some people say that Biden doesn't really have charisma, right? Because we all know that in 2008, for example, in the primary, Biden was came second to last at the Iowa caucus primary, right? So were you supporting him from the beginning, or when did he really attract your attention that you were like, yeah, this guy is amazing and I'm supporting him?
So it was definitely, like I said during the 2020 primaries, when I realized that he was the candidate that best represented my values, and I think it's going to unify America, not just Democrats, not just Republicans, but all Americans. It's his character, it's his experience in service. I've had, when I was a student in Chicago, I had the unique opportunity to be in a room where he came and spoke to students, and his personal warmth and his willingness to answer questions, and just he looked us straight in the eye, me and all of my fellow students, and he told us about his own life. He talked about the time he called his mom when he was asked to serve as the vice president, and the conversation that he had with her, and that reminded me of myself. When I don't know what to do, sometimes I call my parents, and that wasn't just something he made up. He was talking to students. He wasn't running for anything at the time.
What about Harris' performance at the vice presidential debate? What do you think is the highlight, like the best performance, and what is one point that you hoped that she could have done better?
It's not a quote, it's really a feeling. We need more women. We need more women of color in leadership. We need more up and down the ballot from all communities of color. We need that representation. I mention that because the vice president of the United States got up there and repeatedly told alternative facts, untruths. He misconstrued actual numbers to make it look like the administration had not presided over 210,000 deaths. He repeatedly talked about the tax cuts that are benefiting the 1%, saying it's unleashed the American potential. But Kamala Harris stepped in and said, listen, if that were true, maybe there wouldn't be 30 million people who are currently unemployed. Maybe the 400,000 small businesses that have closed would still be open. We wouldn't be sending our kids to virtual school. Like, all these things the administration didn't want to talk about. And Kamala Harris said, listen, it's time for equity in our conversation to truth in a way that this administration is not being truthful right now.
What about one single thing, if you have to name one, that she could have done better?
That she could have done better. I think that she was unfairly trampled over by the moderator when she was very patient and she respected the rules, but the vice president just didn't give. He didn't really care about the rules, which is reflective of the administrations that they one set of rules for them and another set of rules for the rest of us. So if anything, I wish that Senator Harris had I guess been, I don't want to say more assertive, because she got her points across in a really great way. But it's hard for me to say that I wish that she had done the same thing, but I think she should have gotten fair time, and she really didn't.
What about Bernie? Do you feel, because there are things about that because of his age and potential concern about the health, that the far left is going to control the government if Biden is elected? Do you share the concern?
No, I don't share that concern.
How do you feel about Bernie, like that? A little bit more left.
To be honest, I mean, I live in Virginia. I've been to a wedding in Vermont, but I don't really know the political geography there. I don't know what's important to people, the people who have elected him. I know that he served in the Congress and the Senate for a long time.
Right.
I mean, I don't have any personal animus.
Okay, so you don't really know his political agenda and stuff. You haven't been a Bernie supporter.
I can only speak personally. In 2016, I supported and worked for Secretary Clinton.
Right.
This year, I was basically came in with a neutral appetite and decided that Joe Biden was the best, the best
got it.
unifier. He's going to bring us back together.
Awesome. Any more comments about Hong Kong? What do you think that America or Biden can do different for Hong Kong?
I am very hopeful that President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris will emphasize that it's important for Hong Kong to maintain its traditional independence, not just on an everyday life for going to the grocery store or going to school or going to a park. All these freedom of everyday life, the beautiful, the things that film, music, television.
Speaking of that, have you watched Jimmy Lai's interview with 60 Minutes, where he was talking exactly the same point as you were conveying, which is he said the Chinese Communist government just wanted us to be happy to just have money. But when the 60-minute host asked him why isn't that enough, he said because we're not dogs. The same thing as you're emphasizing, freedom.
The reason why Hong Kong's democratic system has been so successful and such an amazing example, not just in Asia but all around the world, is the rich, diverse connections between the people and the place geographically that it has, and all the amazing ideas that have come forth from Hong Kong over the many decades because of that. And that's what I want President Biden to emphasize, is that no outside influence, whether they have traditional historical connections or they don't, should be interfering in a way that the residents of Hong Kong decide 100% what they should do with their lives and their laws. No outside body, no appointed council individuals that are handpicked by a power that is not in Hong Kong should ever be deciding the lives and everyday impacts on those who actually live there.
Have you voted yet?
I have. I voted by mail. I got my mail-in ballot, and then I turned it in person here.
About the news about some ballots were discarded, etc. Do you have any? Obviously, you don't have concerns about mailing votes.
So what's great here in Virginia is you can go online. You can go to iwillvote.com. You can request your ballot, and then it has a barcode on it. So every step of the way, you get to see where your ballot is. When it goes to the post office, when it goes into the system here, when it gets counted, you get to track that every single
That's
way.
awesome, and it's something unique in Virginia, right? How many other states are doing the same?
I'm not sure. I know that Virginia, each state determines its own way of preparing the ballots. But Virginia has a very safe, effective. Governor Northam has done a terrific job of passing a recent law that you don't need postage, for example, to mail in your ballot. We can vote 45 days before the election now. The forms of ID that you can use are also expanded.
I think, are we still requiring IDs now, or people don't have to show?
You can file a provisional ballot. If you don't, and then you have to follow up later. But now the list of acceptable forms of saying that I am Paul Berry or I am who I am, that's been expanded, and really that's given voters in Virginia an expanded ability to exercise their right to vote, and that's what we want. We want more people to vote. Okay,
just curious. One last question about this number one gerrymandering. What is that?
So personally, I am voting no. I voted no on Amendment 1. Amendment 1 has to do with how the lines are drawn in the state of Virginia for our congressional districts, for our state senate, and for our House of Delegates.
Why is the nickname gerrymandering? Does that affect Jerry Connolly or what?
Not at all. That's a complete coincidence. I know. I live in Congressman Connolly's district. He's a delightful man. He's absolutely a terrific representative. Has nothing to do with him. Gerrymandering is a historical term that I believe the original term came from a congressional district in Massachusetts, and you'd have to look up the Wikipedia on that because I don't remember the history.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Very nice.
When is this going to air, or where should I look for it?
It's live streamed already.
Oh, really?
So, yes.
Okay,
so
was
we'll
it on
post
Facebook or?
It's on YouTube. So if you search for, we're live streaming for the Cantonese channel.
Okay.
In Hong Kong. And then we're gonna repost it on our English channel, which is Epoch Times.
Epoch Times. Okay.
Epoch Times and NTD Hong Kong.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are a lot of Epoch Times channels, but look
Times
for the
and-
one that has says Hong Kong.
NTD Hong Kong.
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, good
yes,
luck.
very nice
Thank you.
chatting with you.
What's that?
So cool.
Yeah. thank you for joining us. I hope.
Oh yeah,
have a
I'm
nice
gonna
day.
get in line later on as well.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh hi.
My name is Anika. I'm a coach for the APIs for Biden Harris, and I just want to know. I didn't know you were live.
Oh yes, I am live. So
They have this video that they do why you should vote early, and I was gonna ask you if you could
so
help.
why don't you this lady is from AAPI, right? So why don't you talk to our Hong Kong audience about why you support Biden and have you been following the news in Hong Kong?
So first, my name is Anika. I am a coacher for API, Biden, Harris, and Virginia leadership, and I just want to say hi to everybody in Hong Kong. I have not been keeping up with the Hong Kong news, I'm sorry, but I will say I've been so busy locally in Virginia trying to make sure that we elect Biden, Harris. Over here in Fairfax, we're having early voting, and so much is at stake, from our economy, education, healthcare, to how we recover, especially for the small businesses and job opportunities. And Biden has a plan with Build Back Better America that is going to be benefiting and helping our API community, including the community and the Chinese community, Vietnamese and Korean, and all of our API members. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Terrific.
Thanks for approaching me. Have a good day. OK， 咁我哋已經同時同兩個陣營嘅顏色鮮明嘅啲義工傾咗啦嚇，跟住咧我哋希望係去同啲選民傾下。首先咧，我想同啲已經投咗票嘅出嚟啲人睇下佢哋係咩諗法嚇，跟住跟住咧嚟大家睇下呢度橫掂呢個隊都幾長下嘅。頭先嗰位 Paul 都講咗啦，有時啲人要排成3個鐘。Oh my God！ 哇，嗰個隊伍係好長嘅。Let's take a look。佢頭先係話經常投票啲人要排3個鐘啊咁樣嘅。咁啲選民呢，今季係會有啲擔憂嘅，即係如果係郵寄啲票呢，唔知去邊度咯。同時好多時候而家啲新聞都會出嚟話，有郵局嘅員工啦，訂咗啲郵寄嘅投票啊，又或者係啲投票唔知去咗邊啊咁樣，所以咧好多人都會有少少咁嘅 concern 咯。嗱，呢度係政府嘅大樓嚟嘅，所以可能比較有保障啲啦，係嘛？咁10月14號開始咧，喺 Virginia 咧，喺其他14個點都會開放，咁就係啲圖書館啊，啲其他地方，所以咧嗰啲地方可能我唔知啲，等陣我會問下佢啲選民會唔會覺得嗰啲地方可能比唔上呢度政府大樓咁可靠啦。同埋今個週末咧係長週末咯 ，depends 啊。咁星期一係 Columbus Day， 好多其實私營嘅企業係唔係假期嚟嘅，但係好多人因為你啲仔女都冇得學返，咁佢哋就會趁呢個機會，可以收假咁樣。同埋呢，我哋今個週末喺呢度都會受到Hurricane 嘅影響啦，所以星期六今日天氣好好啊，好似15、16度咁樣。聽日應該都唔錯，但係星期日同埋星期一而家係預告係有好多會落好多雨，因為呢個颶風嘅問題。所以我哋睇下啦，話大家睇下呢個隊伍有幾長呢？係嘛？ 咁我諗都係好多人，因為聽日咧係第一日，呢度星期六、星期日都會開放。我哋嘅工作人員提醒我唔好隨便講 My God 啊，呢個唔係好尊重，唔好意思。Points taken, points taken。咁大家睇下呢個隊伍，因為聽日呢度週末就會開放啦嘛，肯定好多人諗住話，聽日肯定人多，更加多。今日可能因為大家都知道係假期，聽日有可能係長週末，所以呢，一般公司都唔會話太過要求，太要求太嚴，話你一定要做嘢做到5點鐘啊，或者點樣，尤其星期五啦，天氣又咁好。所以呢啲人啊，可能就趁住呢個機會出嚟投票啦。因為今次係因為個 COVID-19 啊，所以好多人都諗住話早啲投票，因為11月3日嗰陣時嘅時候，聽講即係不斷有聽咁媒體咁樣講啦，即係義工唔夠。因為通常啲票點啊都係需要義工幫助啲選民投票咁樣，但係啲義工呢，通常都係退休嘅嘛，老人嚟嘅。咁佢哋今季因為啲擔心啲中共病毒呢，就義工嘅人數大大減少咁樣啦，所以好多人都知道唔想等到最尾嗰一日啦。所以都嚟呢度投票啦，同埋我睇到個廣告都好有意思嘅嗬，就係話鼓勵大家一定要考慮呢個投票係最優先、最重要嘅嚇。Prioritize voting， 跟住就係話 yes even over drinking alcohol， 即係投票要更加重要過飲酒嘅。投票先，跟住先至飲酒咁樣嚇，所以呢，就係要 vote responsibly and drink responsibly， 要投票都要負責，同埋飲酒都要負責咁樣嘅。OK， 所以呢個都係另外一個標語。咁我哋睇下啦，通常呢對尾呢，我可以幫助佢哋有啲 distraction 啊嘛，咁排喺呢度，估計都係要3個鐘先至可以排入去啦。因為唔係入咗去就可以投票嘅嚇，入咗去先至真正比較接近，但係都要差唔多20米咁樣啦，跟住你先至可以轉左，然之後先至真正入即係進入投票希望嘅區域嚇，好似啲喺超市買餸咁樣，你要真正而家仲未到可以 check out 嘅，冇啲收銀員幫你嘅嚇，所以我幫助佢哋嚇，俾佢哋比較娛樂性嘅，可以同我傾下嚇，唔至於太悶啦。而家咁排喺呢度啊，又要好耐先至可以入咗大樓嘅，係呢兩位男士，我睇下佢哋。Excuse me, sir. Hi, I'm with Epoch Times, and I'm live streaming for Hong Kong audience. Anything you want to share, if you don't feel comfortable who you're voting for, just in general about your feeling about this election in 2020, etc.
Okay,
Yeah?
no problem. Yeah, sure. Yes, I'm JD here at standing in line to cast my ballot for early voting.
Right.
I feel it's very important as an American citizen to get out and have the freedom to vote, especially in this election. I feel very passionate about this year, and I'm here to put my vote in for Joe Biden, who I think would be a good change for America.
And when you say especially passionate this year, I heard that. So you feel that you're more passionate than past years?
I've never missed a presidential election. I've always voted. But this year especially, I think it's important to get out and support everyone's candidate of choice. It's important to take a stand and make a vote.
What are you defending that you feel so compelled and more passionate than past years to vote for Biden?
I guess it would be personal freedoms, the ability to make sure that we all have the freedom to do what we want to do and not feel controlled, and that one individual person is using their office to their advantage, and that concerns me.
Yeah. So in contrast, what kind of freedom is Trump curbing you?
I think it.
Just curious because you seem to allude to Biden providing extra freedom.
Well, I think a lot of the things, the mandates they're doing, cutting the EPA, slashing a lot of regulations that help protect Americans. I think that is, I have a problem with all of that.
Okay, so you're referring to more like general benefits for the public, not necessarily personal freedom.
Right.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's it for me.
Okay,
thank you.
All right. And sir, how about you? And if you guys have been following any news in Hong Kong, any thoughts to share with our Hong Kong audience?
No, thank you.
I, for one, am supportive of freedom for Hong Kong.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
OK， 頭先呢位人就係話今年佢特別有熱情，想要投拜登嘅票。咁我問佢點解今年特別有熱情呢？佢話係因為今年覺得需要更加多嘅自由啦。咁我問佢係點樣嘅自由？佢話係譬如話啲支持環境啊，佢唔希望國家嘅政策被一個人嘅喜好所決定。咁我頭先同佢 clarify 啦，即係話咁你頭先講嘅啲環境啊乜嘢，主要係一種對公眾嘅福利嚟嘅，係嘛？唔係你講嘅自由，唔係話個人嘅自由。佢話係唔係個人嘅自由？即係因為佢頭先話拜登俾佢更多自由，咁我唔知點解啦，因為通常民主黨嘅都係比較即係屬於走啲大政府嘅模式啊嘛，咁其實對於個人嘅自由，可能佢即係唔會話特別會多過特朗普或者共和黨呢邊咯，所以我比較咁頭先嗰位先生都係話支持香港自由嘅，我諗睇下呢個香港嘅民主自由問題呢，似乎係即係 bipartisan 咯，兩邊都係冇話覺得香港市民係唔應該抗爭嘅，只不過我而家採訪聽到呢，好似共和黨嗰邊支持香港嘅基礎更加源於對中共嘅一啲認識咯，同埋對美國嘅威脅。民主黨呢邊呢，支持香港呢係比較源於同情香港，覺得香港人應該有自由民主，同埋頭先嗰位年青人 Paul 係講希望香港人可以自己決定，唔會受到香港之外嘅力量嘅左右咁樣。咁我哋睇下呢位女士啱啱過嚟最尾嘅呢個 line 呢度。Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing okay.
Hey.
You doing a podcast?
Yes, I'm with the Epoch Times. I'm live streaming to Hong Kong audience now. Hi, sounds like have you been following the news in Hong Kong? It seems like when I mentioned the name, it clicked.
Yeah, I think there is some new rules going into effect that is upsetting some of the population, and some of the population is more towards the mainland.
What kind of new rules?
Has
You're
something to do
referring
with
to
their
the national
legislation.
security law?
Yes.
Okay. Wow, you're very in tune with
not
international situation. Now, have you been following the recent protests and 12 Hong Kongers were intercepted by the Chinese Coast Guard when they tried to flee to Taiwan for freedom because majority of them have been charged in Hong Kong. So they tried to run for Taiwan, but they were now detained in mainland, and their families are denied of access to them or hiring their own lawyers. That's part of the national security law because it made it legitimate, right? Before
the mainland had more direct influence with some of the government. There's two parties, I think, and one of the parties is more leaning towards the mainland.
Exactly.
One is more towards the historical
Yes.
government left over from when the British moved out.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't mean.
What are you looking for?
I was looking for my phone so I could take a picture of our.
Oh
crazy
yeah, the
election
long
situation.
line, right? It's yeah. So you're here to. You found time today to come here early?
I didn't think it was going to be this long. I knew it was going to be long, but I didn't think it was going to be this ridiculous.
So I was just talking to a gentleman, several before you, and he said he felt especially passionate about voting this year versus 2016.
Right.
Do you feel similar ways, or you're
feel
just
about
here
the
like
same
every time?
level. I mean, our government, we set up voting, and as a woman, we didn't really get the vote till 100 years ago, and that was really only for educated white women. So it's always important, regardless of the year. So I know there's a lot of disenfranchisement among different groups of people, and I see it. Not everyone does, but I think voting is important no matter local, state, federal.
And do you think that we're more divided this time versus 2016, or about the same?
In 2016, I think we're more divided. I think that's by design.
By design, as in whose design?
Not just one side. My husband and I have this discussion all the time. It's not just the left blames the right, the right blames the left, and it's everyone. It takes two people to have an argument.
Right. So you and your husband, are you guys in the same camp or different?
We're in different parties.
Okay, that makes it even more interesting, huh?
Yeah, but we're probably going to vote the same. I don't know. We don't tell each other who we vote for. It was an agreement when we first got married.
To keep the marriage in harmony.
We like to have a discussion of what we think, and it helps us
so
whittle out our ideas.
What have been some of the major issues that you guys discussed about?
Well, I mean, I work for the health department.
I see from your polo shirt.
And he he's a teacher. And so he's learning to adapt to a different type of educational style. They're doing more remote. And of course, we haven't had any, when the country shut down, the health department continued to work. So like, he's concerned about his own physical safety. Because the way that the opening is being decided right now is the students stay put, and then he will be walking from classroom to classroom to classroom. And so he's concerned that he's going to be a person that's going to spread an outbreak from classroom to classroom.
Okay, is it in the public system or the private?
He's in the public.
Oh, okay. I'm not aware that students have in-person learning.
They're not yet, but there's conversations on getting it back. And
oh, okay. So you're talking about in the setup
so
in the future. He's gonna be okay.
Oh, that's what my school does. The teacher goes to classroom to classroom.
Right. Yeah, and so that's not how he's used to it, and he doesn't necessarily think that's fair. And I don't have an opinion on fair or not. I'm more concerned about safety, and I point
And
out to him
there
there's
has
been lots
been-
of groups of people that have had to endure more unsafe situations, like grocery workers, and
Right.
he thought that he believes that this is exclusive to just teachers, and I do think there's an increased risk this year. But I think that lots of families in many different types of work are going to be experiencing that.
So for you personally, what are some of the top issues you're considering when you evaluate different candidates? First of all, let me just ask, are you partisan, meaning that you are going to vote for one party no matter what, or you're more issue-based?
I try to research each of the main candidates for parties, Libertarian, Republican, Democrat.
Okay, yeah, so then that makes my question valid, right? Which is
Yeah,
then
what
are
is the criteria?
main issues that's swaying your opinion that you base your decision on?
I like issues, and I prefer an issue to work out, but I more look for the morality and the approach that a politician has than necessarily how they're going to vote.
Okay, so
Because
can
if
you
I
get
could trust them
Right.
to make what I would consider humane or moral decision, I realize the politicians have it bad. They have to make laws that were going to affect everyone, and sometimes there's good effects and sometimes there's bad effects. So I want to pick a person who I think can make a decision that would help the most without hurting the most.
So can you give me an example about what reflects morality?
I want to stay away from the hot buttons.
What is the hot button?
Well, there's
Here.
obviously the normals, the pro-choice,
Pro-life. Yeah, okay.
decision.
Right.
And I try to stay away from that because I have a personal opinion and then I have a public opinion.
Oh, okay.
Well, not a public opinion, more of a position that I would prefer my politicians to follow.
Understood.
But I would never, well, I can't say never, but I would prefer that people choose life in all circumstances. But I'm not in everyone's shoes. I don't know what's going through that. And
So, are you following that? I think Secretary Pompeo recently announced how Trump is pulling funding for all the international non-government organizations
is that the
are
gag
in the
rule that he's...
that are in the abortion network.
I think President Trump in general tries to pull away all foreign aid. He doesn't see the direct value. That's his philosophy, not necessarily mine, but I can see his argument to it. So I'm not in his shoes. I don't get his daily reports. I don't get to see how the money is spent. I'm not that well read in that. So.
Okay, so what do you think it's some of the very important things that it doesn't matter who gets elected, but what do you see as the nation's immediate priority in 2021?
I think we need to work on our divisiveness and try to roll that back. People want to forward their agenda. I get that. I think we as a country just need to take a breath. Just pause and wait. And that no politician is ever going to get elected on that thought. Because when people get elected, they have this plan for the future and they want to do that. And I just want people's plans to be calm. Because we got a lot of stuff going on in the world and we need to be prepared for it.
Yeah, sometimes not doing is better than doing in some ways.
But
yeah, that's interesting. Well, thanks for sharing your thoughts, and good luck with getting to the destination. It's going to be a while. 我哋頭先呢位係女士，佢係喺呢個附近，都係呢個 Fairfax County 嘅 Alexandra 一個城市健康部工作嘅。咁佢話佢同自己嘅老公兩個人係唔同嘅意見咯，係會可能投唔同人嘅票，因此佢哋都冇話俾對方知會投邊個嘅票。咁佢話佢都係比較注重喺道德方面咯，而唔係話特別係一 某一個議題方面嘅呢個候選人嘅立場嚇。好啦，咁我哋再睇下呢個 line 而家係越嚟越長咯。哇！頭先我企喺呢個地方係終點嚟嘅，但係而家已經係去咗嗰邊啦。我希望可以同大家問下唔同嘅背景嘅選民啦，睇下佢哋準備點樣，有咩考慮。我睇下呢位黑人大叔。Hi, I'm good. I'm with the Epoch Times. I'm live streaming to Hong Kong audience, and just curious wonder that you may have a few minutes to chat with me.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. So why have you decided to? I can walk with you. Why have you decided to vote early?
Because this is the election of my life.
Wow. Why do you say that?
Because I am voting because of the way I see the country is moving. So I think if I make my own decision to vote, maybe it might make changes. So that's why I'm voting.
You are... Oh, okay. Did you mention that you're a dual citizen?
I'm a citizen.
Oh, no. Did you mention you're dual citizen, that you're a citizen of America and a citizen of another country?
No, I'm a citizen of America.
Okay. And I'm sorry, sir, I didn't quite capture that. So what makes this voting the vote of your life? What's so important?
Because of the trend of the way the country is going. That's why I want to vote.
Mm-hmm. And what is the...
If I cast my vote today, maybe my vote will make a change. I want to change the way the country is going.
And where is the county going? Tell me, what's your interpretation?
We are going to the wrong direction.
And which direction is that?
The wrong direction. We are not respected anymore all over the world. America is racial tension. The country is divided. So that's the reason why.
And you believe that the candidate you're voting for is going to put an end to that?
Yes, going to put an end to that and make this country united again and be the America we used to have.
May I know which candidate you're voting for?
No.
Do you feel comfortable?
I can keep that one personal.
Okay. Oh, no problem at all. Yeah, the more important thing is that you vote.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Have you been following the news in Hong Kong at all?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Oh, I'm glad you're here. It's gonna take some time to get you into the building.
If it cost me the whole of the day, I will stay till I cast my vote.
Okay, so you're very, very committed.
I am very committed to this election.
Okay. And does that in itself kind of reflect how divided we are?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad that you are very firm and very resolute in putting an end to that. I think we can all benefit from a more united society.
Okay,
Thank you, sir, and good luck. Okay. 呢個投邊個人嘅票咧，呢個都係屬於隱私嚟嘅，所以如果佢即係唔係好特別願意分享咧，都係無可厚非嘅。咁我等陣呢位女士睇住我嘅。Hi, good. Hi, I'm from Epoch Times. I'm live streaming to Hong Kong audience.
All right.
Hi, all right. And you know, I figured that you might have a few moments to chat with me since you're like
Sure.
in the line.
No
Okay,
problem.
so have you been following news in Hong Kong at all?
Not really, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay, no problem, no problem.
I wish I will.
Yeah, yeah, no
opportunity.
problem. So,
Yes.
what's your? I can walk with you, no
Sure.
problem. So, what's your decision? What drove your decision to come here vote early this time, or have you always voted early?
Well, to be honest with you, this is my first time voting.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. I became American citizen last year, so I'm so excited. So it's going to be the first time. But what made me come here to vote early, because I was thinking it's very convenient and it's special, especially it's thinking about when the election day, it's going to be a little bit more difficult and a lot more crowded. And I want to make sure they're going to have my vote.
Okay.
And so that's one of the reasons why I
Okay,
came.
so
Yes.
you want to make sure they have your vote. Is it mainly because this is your first time voting, you want to make sure it counts? Or is it you are supporting a particular candidate and you feel very passionate about it?
I think both.
Both? Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So you believe the candidate you support is going to make a big difference?
I really think so. I'm convinced that he's going to do great. And he has a lot of experience because, he was the vice president of the United States.
He had been in the second in command and have seen it going.
Exactly. And I think I like Kamala Harris, and I think she's a wonderful person. She's so smart, and she's gonna make a big difference for this country, especially with women. And I think she's a great supporter.
So, speaking of that, did you watch her debate earlier this week?
I did, and I think she did awesome. I think everything what they asked her, she answered, and she was exactly very.
So what do you feel about the packing the Supreme Court? Do you believe the issue of packing the Supreme Court is one of the issues that they debated about? That potentially after Biden wins, they're going to expand the number of seats in the Supreme Court. Are you for that?
Yes, I think so. I really do.
And what's the reason? Because the Supreme Court is too conservative right now? I mean, we can count the seats, right?
Exactly,
yeah. So is it because of that? You want the ideology and the approach a little bit more liberal?
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Any more questions?
No, thank you for chatting with me.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah. Take care. Huh? Yeah. And then congratulations again.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm from Costa Rica originally.
Oh, Costa Rica.
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, it's a very beautiful country.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are you able to go back though?
Yes, I would like to go soon. I've not been able because of the pandemic.
Yes.
So I want to play safe.
Yeah.
So I'm planning to go probably next year when everything gets better. Maybe I have my vaccination.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
You too. OK， 呢位係第一次投票，都係非常之堅決嘅要投拜登嘅票。咁同大家介紹下Virginia 其實以前大概係3歲論之前啦，20年前比較 safe 嘅五輪之前係 Virginia 係絕對係共和黨嘅地盤嚟嘅，但係後尾慢慢就係變成紫色啦。咁而家其實係比較藍色，尤其係我哋呢度北部離 DC 比較近嘅地方，離華盛頓比較近嘅地方。如果係去到南部呢，唔一定嘅。但係而家如果係要講成個州呢，都係應該係藍色嘅。咁即係民主黨嘅。咁 Maryland 梗係即係一直都係根本就冇呢個紫色呢種情況㗎啦，即係完全係藍色嘅咁啦嚇。OK， 咁我哋再睇下啲有冇其他比較中意彈嘅比較 talkative 嘅嚇，願意係分享我哋嘅即係。或者我哋睇下呢嗰邊可能有亞洲人咁咯。 跟住有機會我都想同啲其他嘅義工傾下嘅，因為我哋之前嚟嘅時候係同共和黨同埋民主黨嘅義工傾啦，但係佢哋係明確嘅係為自己黨派服務咁嘅。仲有其他啲義工呢，係完全係因為冇黨派立場嘅，係普通嘅義工幫下啲人啦，回答問題啊嗰啲嘢嘅，所以我都想同嗰啲義工傾下，睇下佢哋不如咁啦，我哋去已經投咗票嘅人，睇下佢哋今次投票 COVID-19 中共病毒有咩特殊嘅感受，同以往唔同嘅地方。睇啲投票嘅觀感，一投咗之後可能各位觀眾，如果你而家啱啱開始睇呢，我哋而家係喺Virginia 北部嘅一個county 啦 ，Fairfax。咁你如果有關注美國啲比較地方嘅情況呢，通常我哋呢度即係少部分人係住喺華盛頓特區入邊啦，大部分啲主流社會嘅人都係住喺郊區。咁郊區最富有、最高尚嘅社區呢，就係基本上就係兩個啦。因為係 Fairfax County， 就係我而家企喺呢度係 Fairfax County 嘅政府大樓。另外一個係 Maryland 嘅馬里蘭州嘅 Montgomery County。咁我而家今日係喺 Fairfax County 呢度啦。Fairfax County 同埋 Maryland County 都係喺美國前10名嘅比較富有嘅county 嚟嘅。咁我哋而家Virginia 嘅提前投票係9月18號開始㗎啦。9月18號開始呢，一直就係呢個係唯一嘅一個點嚟嘅。從9月18號開始，星期一至星期五。咁我先同我呢位先生傾下。Hi, excuse me, sir. Are you in a rush? Do you have a few minutes to talk to me?
I do.
I'm with Epoch Times.
You're with what?
Epoch Times, and I'm live streaming to Hong Kong audience.
Hi there.
Hi. Have you just curious been following the news in Hong Kong at all?
In Hong Kong?
Uh-huh.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Not terribly recently, but I know in general. And it's in a lot of ways it's inevitable. You know, China is never going to let Hong Kong be different. And they're really good at making incremental changes that people don't notice as much.
Almost like the frog in the water, like the water is heating up.
That's right. And like, do you know what they're doing in the, what is it, the China Sea or the Asian Sea?
The South China Sea.
The South China Sea. They're building those islands little by little. And they're only doing a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit there. And after a while, suddenly, kablam.
Right, which they promised President Obama at the Rose Garden, right? China promised that they're not going to build any military base or artificial islands in South China Sea.
Of course they're not.
So, sir, did you mean that you, from the get-go, have seen Hong Kong's fate since 1997? Did you kind of foresee back then?
Well, I remember hearing that in another dozen years, Hong Kong goes back to China and going, oh, wow, and thinking that, well, it's going to happen.
So
and
that
I was kind of
1985.
amazed that it didn't right away.
Oh, okay.
I was glad, and I thought maybe there are companies that buy out other companies because they're making a similar product, but they're smart enough to leave them alone.
Because Hong Kong is a financial hub, and the
so
mainland needed Hong Kong for the money.
Right, and maybe they'll leave them alone. And that may have been their original intention. But now I guess they've learned enough about it. But who knows? The guy in charge is a little bit power hungry. So,
you think so?
Yeah. It used to be that I even heard from Chinese citizens, Chinese communists even, that China is not interested in gaining land or taking over other parts of the world. They just want to be left alone and be themselves. And that was true for a long time. Of course, they have a long built up memory of the West taking horrible advantage of them with the silver opium tea trade and the Western countries, advanced countries, controlling China for a long time, and then Japan. Gosh, but what can you do? But we can still keep Taipei.
Recently 12 Hong Kongers were trying to escape Hong Kong to Taiwan, and they were intercepted by Chinese Coast Guard.
Oh, lovely.
And now detained in Shenzhen, a neighboring city in mainland, for over a month. And their families don't have access to them at all, nor the family hired lawyers.
So it's been a month, or they let them go after a month?
No, it's been a month. They're still detained, and their arrests have been approved as formal arrests. So the next step would just be prosecution.
Yeah. Oof.
And they try to apply for bail, but the applications were denied.
Why did they care? I don't understand why China cares.
Why China takes the effort to make it hard for the people?
I know they don't want money to leave, but why? What? Why do they care about people from Hong Kong leaving to Taiwan?
Well, I think it's about control, because if people know that you can just.
Too many people do that.
No, it's about the, like you said, the power hungry, right?
Right.
If as a bully, if there's other way around, then you're not the absolute power, right? And people don't fear you anymore.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So, what's the reason that you decided to vote early? Have you always voted early every time?
I've been voting early recently. Yes. Yep. And actually, right now, we're not going to stay in line. We're leaving because the line's unusually large, and we.
So you haven't voted yet?
So I haven't voted. Yet.
So you just came here and decided that. No.
I was just finding out what was going on, and I'm going to find my wife at the end of the line.
Okay, so she's being holding the line for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what? May I ask, what is the most important issue for you this time around?
Saving democracy. That's the most important, but everything else. Saving democracy, environmental regulations are being gutted. There's too much influence from other countries, especially the Russian mafia, or whatever they are. It's just a nightmare.
How would you want America to take a different turn?
The real problem is our two-party system is bankrupt. There's a really good video on the web by some British guy done years ago showing how, because we have winner-take-all elections, that declines into two parties mathematically. It's mathematically inevitable to have just two parties. And once you have that, you don't have enough variety, and not enough people have a say.
But what can we do about it, though? I mean, these two parties were kind of like market economy, right? It becomes Google and Microsoft, and then the small parties They don't have such a large base.
Except we've done pretty well with businesses. We broke up AT&T.
Right. So you think that we need to do the same on the political parties?
And we threatened Microsoft enough. Did you know that Bill Gates gave $250 million to Steve Jobs to keep Apple alive?
I didn't know about that.
Yes, he did.
That's a smart move.
Yeah.
Better a known competitor than someone unknown, right?
That's right. It also settled a bunch of lawsuits. But he needed Apple as a competitor,
right,
because
to keep
this was
him
at the
afloat.
same time as the AT&T breakup.
Right,
the government was threatening Microsoft.
Right.
They had those hearings on the big companies. They asked, Kamala Harris, I think, asked very specific questions that showed that Amazon violated classic antitrust rules by pricing the diaper business out of business. So, what they're looking for is they're going to have to split Amazon, and Amazon will have to keep the web ordering and delivering business and stop selling themselves. So they can't sell products themselves. They can only sell for other people. And they have competitors with Walmart, but it isn't enough. But anyway, because of the two-party system and because of other laws that have happened, it's much easier for the powerful, rich interests to gain control. When I was growing up, you didn't have national entities changing votes in states' elections, interfering with advertising and everything else. They figured out how to who was vulnerable in states, in state elections, state senates. There was a particular one in Maine. This is an article on Planet Money on NPR, I think, where a guy who'd been in the state legislature, who was good, who represented the people, who was the right party even, was targeted by the national Republican interests. And they put up a completely made up lie advertisement about he was against fireworks and wanted to ban fireworks, which was nonsense. And he lost. And because of those little things, they've taken over state legislatures all over the country.
So you're talking about
and they changed the census.
You're talking about that both parties have become kind of franchise and control, the best, put forward the best product for the voters to grab votes.
That's right. That's right.
So
anyway, I need to go because my wife's in line and I don't want her in line with other people breathing on her. Oh, there she is.
Yeah, of course.
Here, just come here. Come here.
She's unsure yet if you guys want to abandon that post. She's
I haven't talked to her yet.
Has made some progress there.
Yeah, but not much.
Yes, and there's the real line is when you get into the building. So.
Oh really?
Yes.
Anyway, this is not healthy, so we're not standing here.
Yeah. During the weekend, probably there'll just be more people. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, very nice chatting with you, sir. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Do you know about voting manipulation? You probably know about voter suppression.
No, I don't know about it. I just know that there might be some risk within the mail-in vote that, your ballot might be, who knows where it ends up with.
Do you remember in the news in the last couple of elections, very long lines in cities and places like that? That's because they've gained control of the state houses and some local places and have they
just keep the voters out?
They took voting machines away from some localities and sent them to the country where there are more Republicans. So in the Democratic areas, there were huge lines and people left and didn't vote. They're also doing the stuff of requiring certain kinds of identification. That's unusual.
Do you think that's a Republican Party unique, or it's something that Democratic Party might consider doing as well?
The Democratic Party has done plenty of voter manipulation. Chicago's Mayor Daley used to be famous for dead people voting.
So hence going back to your point of saving democracy, because you feel that the two major parties are kind of becoming like the cartels, sort of, right? They're like the institutional investors, the two major investors swaying the whole stock market. You want to,
but the Republicans much more than the Democrats. The Republicans, there are a lot of mainstream and wealthy Republicans who are horrified. This isn't their party at all. They think they're being taken over by super rich and greedy and no principles people too. They really are. But for the most part, power and money wins.
Are you a retired professor?
Everybody says that I should be a professor, but I did do training in customer support. I'm an IT guy.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't come across an IT guy at all, and all the IT guys I know have some hidden, superior creative talents that unfortunately their companies just don't benefit from, right? But on the side, in private life, they're super creative, very smart and intellectual, like always thinking.
And why? Because the administrators tend to be power people. They're not vision and idea people. And they don't know enough to let the vision people do their thing. That's why Steve Jobs was so unusual. And a company like that is so unusual because, Verizon could be doing wonderful technological advances, but they're run by executive administrators who have no vision. So,
very nice chatting with you, sir. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon with your wife.
Right.
Thank you.
And what's your outfit again?
It's Epoch Times. If you search YouTube channel and search Epoch Times Hong Kong, you'll find the channel.
Okay.
Thank you. Yep. OK， 我而家係諗住頭先嗰位先生，我諗住佢已經投咗票，但係佢冇。佢嚟咗之後，發現呢個隊伍太長，佢決定下次再嚟過。咁我想同入邊帶大家入去睇下，我想同啲義工同埋 election officer 傾下，睇下佢哋可唔可以准許我入去。即係大概同你哋 show 下入邊啲 setting 啊。因為通常以前都係好大間咁樣放，有好多 station 咁樣，但係今年因為個中共病毒嘅 setting 唔一樣啦。即係畢竟都係一部分原因，點解呢個隊伍咁長呢？就係因為可以真正入去同時投票嘅人比較少啊嘛，所以我哋而家可以入去。嗰陣時可能就會嗰啲人帶佢哋嘅狗狗入嚟，一齊嚟投票哈。OK， 咁我哋又入去睇下。我頭先講過咧，呢個就係呢位女士佢喺嗰度嘅就係智商啦。即係你如果已經你係郵寄投票，然之後你已經填好咗你嘅表格，咁大家睇下呢啲，即係一個 dot 就係話俾你聽你要企喺嗰度，咁你就可以每個人之間可以6英尺嘅距離。呢位女士就係幫助收集嗰啲票，已經係如果啲人話我想郵寄投票，跟住已經收咗個票之後，跟住你填好票之後就可以過嚟將呢個票親自交俾佢。咁即係係啲市民嘅比較有創意嘅一種郵寄，但係又唔係即係郵啲嗰個選票係郵寄俾佢俾個選民，但係佢跟住填咗之後就親自過嚟drop off咁樣嘅，即係佢哋好 有創意性嘅混合咁樣嘅一種投票嘅方式。呢個我哋頭先講嘅呢個係真正嘅離嗰個投票比較接近嘅地方啦。咁呢個政府大樓就係其他辦公嘅地方嚟嘅。有2間係可以投票，咁大家睇到就係呢個係一間，同埋旁邊嗰個係另外一間。咁入去咗之後咧，就係可以睇到都有好幾個票站，一齊咁樣嘅。咁我想去同嗰個 officer 傾下，問下佢係咪可以俾我短暫入去影下咁樣，即係俾大家一個觀感啦。Excuse me, ma'am. I'm with the Epoch Times and I'm live streaming on our YouTube channel. Is it possible that I can just quickly show what's inside?
Hold on.
You take your time. 我諗佢係要問。
Augustine.
Hello, hi. I'm Terri from Epoch Times, and I'm live streaming for audience in Hong Kong. I just wonder if I can just quickly scan inside and let them know kind of here's the voting situation.
We're going to have
If you have someone who can talk about this year, that would be even better.
I'm busy doing the check-in now, so let me get...
Oh, sure, take your time.
Let me get the other supervisor.
Yeah.
And I think they were going to use that door that's opposite here if anybody wanted to do it.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Let me get...
Absolutely.
I can have you just...
Oh, yeah.
And you have a couple people.
Okay.
Okay.
2.
OK， 咁我哋而家睇佢哋係會聯繫自己嘅 supervisor 咁樣，睇下我哋可唔可以。就一次過係2位咁樣。
You're off now, right? You're not doing anything? You can't be like you can't film voters and stuff without their permission.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm just gonna show the building here, but I can't shut it down because it's a live stream. If I shut it down, it's gonna completely stop.
Yes.
Hey,
Hi.
how are you doing?
Okay.
Hi. Oh.
Yes.
Hey, are you with the Office of Elections?
Yes.
Would you like to speak a few words for our
No.
Hong Kong audience?
Have you gone up to get permission to speak to any of the voters?
Um,
or to take any of the voters? You need to go to 323 and get permission.
Oh, okay.
Or because we have a media person that we need to, that you should have gone to, Brian.
Oh, okay. I've been talking to them outside when they're in line, so
Yeah.
I didn't think that would...
But coming into the building, you
Okay.
have to have permission. So you can go to 323 and talk to the director and see if it's okay for you to
Okay, absolutely. Thanks.
323.
Yep. Okay. OK 係咁入喺呢度入嚟咧，因為我以前都係喺出邊，通常啲投票點嘅當日嘅都係出嚟之後咧喺出邊啊公開嘅地點可以同啲選民講，咁係唔需要話要申請嘅。咁我哋而家要睇下點樣可以去樓上。我唔希望坐電梯，因為坐電梯可能嗰啲信號就冇咗噶啦。好啦，咁我哋入嚟之後，我希望即係同大家 show 下個房間入邊啦。但係我諗喺 Virginia 北部咧，共和黨其實係有一定嘅基礎嘅，但係多年都冇辦法贏到啲，基本上即係Virginia 好多嘅官員啦都係民主黨嘅，咁共和黨係有一定嘅社區基礎，但係好多年冇贏㗎啦。民主黨支持民主黨嘅人 喺 Virginia 係越嚟越多嘅。咁我哋頭先採訪啲出邊採訪啲選民應該都係反映咁嘅情況啦嚇。除咗嗰個喺共和黨嘅個義工站義務服務嘅呢兩位女士係鮮明嘅共和黨之外呢，基本上後面我傾啲人全部都係民主黨嘅。所以我而家去一照住影住呢個樓入邊，係揾下啲323咁，差唔多到㗎啦。Okay, Office of Elections. 呢個323 Office of Elections. There's a line. I know. Hold on. 我女希望我同排隊等。When would I be able to register for that? Okay. Hi, excuse me. I was interviewing the different voters outside, and I was told that there's no problem. But if I want to come in and talk to others, I need to get permission from this office.
Gotcha.
Is
Okay.
it who should I talk to? I didn't.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Okay,
Let
so
me
just
grab.
wait here.
Yeah, just take
okay.
a seat, and I'll grab someone that would be able to
Awesome.
talk to you. Okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you. OK， 佢而家係揾人同我講，我唔希望排隊，我因為今日喺學校係早放學，所以我帶咗我女過嚟。你知啦，啲仔女好驚父母唔排隊，令佢哋覺得尷尬啊嘛。我女就話：媽，你要排隊啊，排隊啊！但係佢唔知我係媒體，唔使排隊啊嘛。
What did they say about? You're just planning to come on Tuesday, or I had got a question from my girlfriend about the emails from the Democrats.
OK， 頭先我同大家 recap 下啦。今日我哋嚟呢度呢係提前投票嘅人啦。大家頭先都睇到好多人排隊喎。個隊好長啦。咁根據啲義工講呢，可能排隊要3個鐘。Oh, hi. Yes. So I'm with Epoch Times, and I was interviewing different voters outside. So I was told that that's not a problem, but inside I need to get permission from this
Well,
office.
inside, because of the limitations with COVID, we're not really letting people inside.
Oh, okay.
Unless, did you go through Brian Worthy and talk to him?
No, I'm not aware of that. In the past years, it's not this strict, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why we've been mainly saying no to inside, because then that eliminates them having people come in to vote.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're being
Awesome.
very strict on how many people come in.
I understood. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll be able to email Brian, right? I'll
Yeah.
find Brian's information online.
Brian Worthy, yeah.
Worthy. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much,
You're
ma'am.
welcome.
Okay. OK， 咁我哋就而家就出去啦，因為佢講係由於呢個中共病毒咧，佢哋唔希望媒體喺入邊採訪，因為如果有人採訪咧，咁就佔咗個位噶啦。佢哋一個房間有啲人數限制啦，大家睇下啲人喺樓下排隊，咁一個房間有人數限制。如果有記者喺入邊呢，咁就佔咗嗰個投票人嘅位啦，會影響佢哋投票。咁我需要呢同佢哋嘅一個專員聯繫，咁我都可以。如果大家希望呢，我都可以星期六翻嚟嘅。咁我聯繫咗Brian， 跟住都可以採訪佢啦，或者係入去同啲即係同大家 show 下個房間啦。就係咁啦。如果大家有興趣咧，可以 留言俾我，咁我可以咁我可以聽日再嚟過。聽日肯定人係多好多嘅，因為聽日星期六啊嘛，係好多人諗住話嚟個選舉越近咧，即係投票嘅人就會越多噶啦，尤其係11月3日嗰日人會好多嘅，但係有好多人都係習慣於嗰日投票咯，即係唔中意提前投票。我一般都係朝早好朝早嘅時候5點幾嘅時候，嗰個時候人唔係好多，我通常都唔使排隊。佢哋仲會以前啦，今次肯定冇噶啦，仲會免費俾咖啡啊咁樣，即係有 donuts 咁樣嚇。好啦，咁我哋出去，我哋再揾幾位，我希望可以揾到投共和黨嘅選民啦，因為我哋而家今次大部分都係民主黨嘅，大家都聽到佢哋嘅考慮啦。但係共和黨嘅除咗呢2位義工之外，其他人好似都冇揾到嚇。我都好好奇，因為每一年嘅選民嘅情況都唔一樣啊嘛。咁係咪今年嘅共和黨嘅人數比例係如此之少呢？或者係佢哋都係話我信唔過提前投票喎，唔知會搞乜有乜花招啊，或者係唔安全啊咁樣。如果係咁呢位女士咧，睇樣係 Excuse me, ma'am. Hi, I'm Epoch Times. Can I talk to you? Do you want to?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it's almost. Hey.
They still have sticks.
Oh yeah, I'm with Epoch Times. I'm live streaming for Hong Kong audience.
Times, I know.
And
I watch it on cable.
Oh, okay.
One of my channels.
Oh, okay.
I can get that off the airwaves. I think Epoch.
And I spoke to.
I think it's China, isn't it? Epoch.
Yeah. It's but it's independent. It's independent. Independent. It's not part of the Chinese Communist.
Where's it say?
We are.
Oh, there it is. I know them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen their paper.
Yeah.
And this is the timeline. Really, what happened when the pandemic hit the country and the president cut off travel to China.
Yeah. You have seen our special edition, right? Special edition.
This is the true chronology of time of what happened. I go, yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I just spoke to Kelly. And you know the 2 volunteers before you,
okay.
the shift
I'm
before
just
you,
a
right?
volunteer.
So I'm curious because so far I talked to most of the voters, and every single one I got is voting for Democrats.
Well, if you canvass most of these people that are early, they're going to be liberal Democrat voters. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
that's what we're finding out.
That's
what you're hearing from President Trump is. All these early voters are all those that going to mail in their ballots later. Mm-hmm. They're all Democratic.
Oh,
that kind of. People that are really true Republicans probably going to vote on November the 3rd, which is.
That kind of explains because.
But you can vote early and get what they call an absentee ballot. That's been going on for decades in this county, and it's one where you have to go online and request it. It's a requested absentee ballot, and this year it's a little more flexible because of the pandemic, that you don't have to qualify by, there's like 15 different categories. I'm also an election officer, so I've always put down election officer. I'm going to be at another poll. I'm not going to be able to vote, but this year anybody can vote absentee. And they get it mailed to them from this office of elections. And then you fill it out, put it in the envelope, sign it, get it witnessed on the sign, and mail it back to them. And then you go back onto their website, and it'll say, we got your ballot. It's just as easy as you can be. You don't have to go through all this mess.
Yeah, some people are pretty creative. They got the ballots in the mail, and then they come and drop off in person. Kind of a hybrid.
You can do that, but we have to look at it as an election officer. that I am an election officer on November the 3rd, and if someone was sent an absentee ballot, we have to make sure that they didn't vote it, or if they did, then we take it and put them in a special envelope and give them another ballot.
So
say, this is the one you put in the machine.
How do you make sure? You have a computer database that you check first?
Oh, you mean if you're registered?
No, if the person had already
Oh,
mailed.
yeah.
Okay.
If they requested an absentee ballot, they put it in the computer. That's how they're going to vote. So if they, let's say if they show up on November the 3rd to vote again, we'll pull up their information and they'll say, oh, they sent you an absentee ballot. Do you have it with you? And they go, oh, no, I don't have it with me. Well, I tell you what, you can vote provisionally, and we'll give you a provisional ballot, and then we put that in a special envelope, and at the end of the week, the election office will compare to see if they got that absentee ballot back or not, so they don't vote twice.
Mm-hmm.
So it couldn't be more fair, appropriate.
So
and,
why do you think most of the Republicans are voting on that particular day? Is there any concern about voting early might...
No. You'll find a small amount of folks up there in this line out here that'll vote Republican, but I think they're so enamored about whatever it is, and they want to pay taxes, more taxes. They can pay mine if they want to. They think Trump's horrible, and he's not. He's
so
a
what is
decent person.
so I take it as you are supporting Trump because you support him, not necessarily because you're a Republican and you have no choice?
I vote for the person, actually.
Oh, okay.
And he happens to be a person who's going to be a strong leader. He's shown he's been a strong leader. He's got peace around the world. He's working at it. He's done a fantastic job of building this economy up. The stock market was going up, and then all of a sudden the Chinese virus hit us, which probably was their plan, and then we had to go into lockdown and all that. But he had all this PPE stuff done, and masks, and the oxygen, what do you call those things? And
ventilators.
Ventilators. He had car companies making ventilators. We gave New York City more ventilators than they.
Yeah,
and they brought a ship up there to help them.
And Kodak making PPEs.
All that stuff. Who did that? Who did that? You can answer that question. It was the administration who did that.
So what do you think of Pence's performance earlier this week at the debate?
Oh, he's very calm and cool and collected. He's a well-spoken gentleman. He's a good man, and I thought he did a tremendous job. And he didn't get all flustered like she was like going to stand up and tell you the word. She's like this,
Hey, just curious about for you, is it Pence 2024 or Pompeo
let's get through
2024?
this November the 3rd first and see what happens. But I have a funny feeling, I really do, that there are a lot of decent people in this country that know what's best for the country and for them personally. And this Pence stuff and this liberal stuff and this Democratic whatever, they all know it's a sham, and it'll all pass after the 3rd of November. Maybe we'll get back to normal.
In Northern Virginia this time, I haven't seen much Trump and Pence signs at all.
Oh, come over to my house. Oh, well.
Well,
you know
I haven't
why?
seen any signs.
I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same as my place. I put...
When the Democrats were in the minority in Richmond, they were proposing a constitutional amendment.
I have large signs that I put on my fence that's on the Fairfax County Parkway, and you can see it real well. But I put these in the ground. These get pulled up or destroyed. All I see is this aluminum thing left.
It's
and they're being destroyed. So people are going to wait till it's closer to the election, and you're going to see more of these signs than you've ever seen. And that's why. It's because, I'm sorry, the Democrats, the liberals, are very destructive, as you know. That's why the riots and all that. They're very hard in how they feel. They're very emotional, and it's not right. You can't, it's not, you remember John F. Kennedy? No, you're too young. That was a
different Democrat. Yeah, I heard that from
very
people
much.
who I talked to as well.
Very much. Unfortunately, now they're really. Have you ever watched Pelosi talk and how she's just got?
Well, she's just on TV today, right? About the 25th Amendment.
Which is stupid. We don't need that. Trump, by tomorrow, he'll have passed his 10 days for COVID. He's healthy, he's fine. You should have heard him talking with Rush Limbaugh this morning. For 2 hours, he went straight with him. Not a problem.
So, sir, have you been following the news in Hong Kong at all?
News in Hong Kong?
Yeah, or
well, I
Trump's
know
China
that
policy?
months ago they were fighting for their freedom and what they wanted to be, but China was having an effect on that, I think. And I don't, are you Chinese?
Yes, I am, and I'm live streaming for.
But you're living here.
Yes.
And you love this country. That's why you're here.
Yes.
Or are you still a resident of China?
No, I'm a citizen here, but I have to say.
I wonder why.
But I have to say I am the minority because most of the Chinese, unfortunately, they're still buying the Chinese propaganda. So even though they're here, and being a citizen, they just want that they don't have to get visa when traveling, but they don't really embrace the American values, right?
Yeah. I don't understand this because the Jews in America are the same way. They don't care what our administration has done back in their country of inheritance. I mean, that's where they came from, was Israel.
Right.
And now the capital has been moved back to the real capital.
Right.
It's been there for centuries in Jerusalem. And yet, do they care about that in this country? The Jews don't. You think they'd be so united and so happy with what Trump has done? But I don't understand it. The Chinese, like you said, the same thing. I don't understand why they do these things. I think they come over here and know they have so much freedom. You know why? And liberty? It's because that's our Constitution that's given us that. And people like us fight to keep that Constitution alive. And not these waves of the way these liberal Democrats are now. They're in this wave of, oh, let's do this now. So they're all going out here like this, and they're thinking, oh, they're gonna destroy this country. We got to keep it the way it's been for over 200 years.
You guys have an extra Alicia Andrews sign?
I have to look at my. Is your representative Connolly, Wexton, or Byer?
You want any Trumps? Oh, I know. You can put them up later.
Where do you live?
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm going to put that out.
My wife's scared of the...
I know. Here, did you hear what he just said?
Yeah, 呢位先生話佢嘅老婆係好害怕，好驚佢哋受到啲民主黨人嘅仇恨嘅對待。Excuse me, sir, I really need to talk to you. I'm live streaming to Hong Kong audience, and so far, 100% of the early voters are Democrats.
Yes.
I want to balance my...
Not 100%, but a high.
But the 100% that I talk to,
about 90%,
right?
Yeah.
So can you tell our Hong Kong audience about your views? Because I need to, so far 2 hours live streaming have been overwhelmingly Democrat.
Well, I have to get inside in a few minutes, but because I'm starting to work. But I'm not actually a Republican, but I'm a Trump supporter.
Okay.
So I'm voting Republican because of him.
Okay, and then you were talking about concerns about putting signs out.
Yes.
What is your wife afraid of?
Of people yelling at us in public, or even violently confronting us, or cursing at us. If we have any signs on our car or in the yard, it's well known that the car will be vandalized or the signs will be stolen. On the app next door, there's a lot of stories just from my neighborhood of people having their Trump signs stolen from their yard.
Okay. And then, sir, what is the one major thing that you support Trump?
Well, if you want a Democratic one, it's over there.
Let's see.
See Sam?
Huh?
I guess. Actually, it's not one single thing, but the America First, the anti-globalism, the America as protectionism, economic nationalism, putting America first over globalism, not open borders, the law and order, the free enterprise, freedom of choice.
Well, you have a long list.
Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Those kind of things. The school choice, which the Democrats don't believe in because of the public pressure from the public school teachers unions.
And so, what about Trump's China policy, or have you been following the news in Hong Kong?
Yes, yes, I know. There's been the Hong Kong protesters have been showing a lot of American flags and Trump signs. I can understand that. Yes, his policy towards China is that we've allowed them to have an unfair trade balance with us. So he'd like to fix that. And I support that.
How did you feel when you saw American flags in Hong Kong protests?
Well, I lived in Asia for 13 years. I lived in Japan and South Korea. So I understand the threat that the communist Chinese pose to people who want to believe in a different political system or different say in the government. So I understand what they're saying.
And good luck. OK， 頭先呢位係呢位義工咧，佢係話佢都係因為呢兩位先生啦，呢個義工同埋我採訪頭先嗰個人。都係話佢哋係因為支持特朗普先至係投共和黨嘅票嘅。咁頭先我問呢位義工就係話：今日我揾到嘅選民，即係提前投票嘅選民，我揾到嘅所有人基本上都係，凡係話俾我聽佢哋係選邊個候選人嘅，都係民主黨嘅喎。我即係想要揾啲共和黨嘅選民平衡下我嘅內容嚇。咁佢話俾我聽，佢話咁係啦，因為呢啲提前投票嘅人啦，大部分都係比較自由派、民主派啲人啦，民主黨嗰邊嘅人啦。共和黨好多人都係會當日投票嘅。咁我問佢話其實我今次好少睇到特朗普嘅 sign 喎。咁佢話係因為即係啲 sign 特朗普嘅 sign 出嚟之後就有人破壞咯。跟住頭先嗰位先生拉住佢要佢接受採訪，咁佢就係又係同樣嘅，佢話而家我淨係需要嗰個共和黨嘅議員嘅嗰個 sign， 唔要特朗普嘅 sign。因為特朗普嘅 sign 攞咗返去佢嘅妻子驚受到仇恨嘅對待。佢頭先我採訪佢話係大家都知道，如果係喺車上面貼住特朗普嘅 sign， 咁嘅車就會被破壞啦。同埋特朗普嘅 sign 喺屋企出邊咧就會俾人攞走啦。呢位先生，呢位義工先生頭先都係同我顯示咗，即係如果你放個 sign 出去咧，嗰個 sign 就會消失，跟住你喺屋企嘅前院或者後院嗰度，淨係就係可以睇到嗰個金屬嘅嗰個條仲插喺地面咯。所以佢話好多人都係準備到時大選差唔多大選要開始之前啦，先至會放嗰啲 sign 嘅咁咯。對呢個民主黨嘅，我諗唔係全部啦，係嘛？但係就係對於呢個支持共和黨嘅選民，或者支持特朗普嘅選民，對於支持拜登嘅選民嘅一啲暴力嘅傾向啊，或者仇恨啊、唔包容啊呢種情況，呢個顧慮係好真實嘅。好啦，咁我哋今次我諗就到呢度啦，2個鐘，希望可以，因為我受到大家嘅鼓勵，覺得香港嘅，首先我非常之 impress 就係香港嘅觀眾係非常有全球化嘅視野對美國呢邊嘅情況，一個係相當之熟悉，另外都係有好大嘅興趣。咁我哋諗住，尤其係而家香港嘅選舉，首先係 民主派有個初選，但係後尾選舉都被推遲咗。咁而家又出現話選民嘅資格可能會擴展到大灣區啊呢啲咁，即係我諗睇下美國呢邊嘅投票，除咗知道大家肯定好關心大選嘅結果啦，但係呢個投票嘅呢個過程，可能都係應該係大家會比較關心嘅。咁我哋都係直播咗2個鐘噶啦。我嘅女已經係催促我話：你媽，你幾時先至結束啊？咁咧，我哋就今日就到此為止啦。希望帶俾大家一定嘅資訊。大家都可以睇到，即係同我上次採訪特朗普嘅支持者唔同啦。特朗普嘅支持者基本上好多人真係問一個係一個都係好支持香港，反對反共嘅嚇。主要我喺同石山做嘅節目入邊已經提到過啦。但係如果係即係基本上係民主黨嘅選民呢，普遍對於香港嘅支持都係仲係比較停留喺理論嘅基礎上啦。並唔係出於反共嘅基點咁樣，即係可能對於共產黨呢，就係冇咁樣嘅認識嚇。咁就係咁嘅情況。其實我今日本身都諗住，如果冇咩人排隊，係咪自己都可以投票呢？但係今次就係呢個隊好長啊，都唔知排到幾時，所以呢，可能要等下次啦。其實都係當日朝早5點幾嘅時候投票係最方便嘅，唔使排隊。好啦，咁香港嘅觀眾好多謝你收睇，希望你繼續支持大紀元，因為大紀元咁多年嚟支持講真相係真係唔容易嘅。其實大家喺我嘅直播中都可以睇到，大紀元係喺美國社會都有一定好大嘅影響。上次直播嘅時候，有人知道大紀元本身唔想接受採訪，但係知道係大紀元，即時心濕出面嚇。頭先各位先生都係講話大紀元有份資料啊，講呢個中共病毒係點嚟嘅，真正嘅時間表咁樣，佢都係印象深刻。